Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back into Otram's YouTube channel. Today isn't really a repair video. It's more of a be careful what you're buying in repairs or be careful what's being proposed. What got me thinking about this was I saw a thread in the Bad Sellers forum on I Hate Mud about a guy who got his pinion seal replaced and immediately the rear end ate itself. And I don't know exactly what repair was done, but they had, reused the stake nut. And I have some theories about what was done because I've seen it done quite a few times. On your pinion, you take this nut off. Well, come on. Usually that comes off pretty easy. But anyway, normally, you pop this off. The seal is right behind this flange. It sits like right here. And I've seen lots of sources and even some shops that'll just pull this off, like count how many turns this came off, replace the seal, and put this back on, hoping they got the preload right. Because it's tapered bearings. And there is a crush sleeve that goes between the two bearings. And when you initially set all this up, you put the nut on here and you compress all this. And it sets the clearance between these bearings and sets how much drag or preload is on them. This is a one-time use thing. Like even if you're doing initial setup, like new gears, rebuild, whatever, if you overcrush this when you're setting it up, you've got to take everything back apart and start over. This is not reusable. This stake nut, not reusable. So what I'm guessing they did, and again, I've seen this happen quite a few times, is, they replaced the seal, they put the nut back on, they tightened it down. Well, now they've, over-tightened the preload on the bearings because they don't have any way to measure it because you're measuring the free rotation. And you can't do that when it's in the truck. So long story short, yeah, it's a lot cheaper to just pop this off, put a seal on it, pop it back on. Can you get away with it? Sometimes. If you're lucky, you can get away with it and you get the preload close enough and it survives. But more often than not, you're either going to leave it too loose or you're going to set it too tight and you're going to kill the bearings. Or if you leave it too loose, you're going to kill the seal because it's flopping around. So yeah, the post on mud made me think about that, but then we've gotten several requests lately. Like we got one there over the weekend. Somebody wanted us to preventatively replace the big end bearings on their 1HZ diesel. Because the main bearings are, or not the main bearings, the big end of the rod bearings are, a known failure point. Can you get away with hot swapping the bearings and not machining the crank and not measuring for tolerances and anything? Again, yeah, if you're lucky. But, there's a reason when an engine's rebuilt, the block gets line bored for the main bearings, the crank gets turned and everything gets measured for oil clearance. Just swapping the bearings, you don't know if that surface on the crank is going to just eat the new bearing. You don't know what the oil clearances are. Yeah, you can plasti gauge it and get an idea, but it's not the proper way of doing things. And we're getting more and more calls of either people wanting us to do, semi-sketch repairs, or, they're comparing our estimate for repair, to something another shop gave them. And like a lot of times we get compared to the dealer for like timing belt and water pump jobs on 100 series. And a lot of those dealer quotes, when you look at them, are just the timing belt. or just the timing belt and the water pump. They're not including all the idlers. They're not including the tensioner. We do so many 2UZ timing belts. We see the pattern failures. So when we write the estimate, we write everything we commonly see, because it's a lot easier to say up front, hey, the estimate's going to cost this, and you may not need it all, but 99% of the time people do. So we just include it off the bat, and if for some reason you don't need it, we take it off. It just makes it, really hard to sell jobs when people are comparing it to somebody else that is quoting the bare minimum. And then once they're in there, they're going to be like, oh, you need this extra, however much in work and labor. So yeah, it's just, and I think it's the economy. I think it's, people are strapped for cash, and they're trying to stretch their budget. But you need to be careful, because, taking the shortcut repair a lot of times is going to bite you and end up, costing you more than doing it right would have in the first place. And, we're kind of tangent to this subject. I'm kind of rambling now. We've had several people come through with 80 series trucks or 100 series trucks, and we give them a look over, and they need a ton of, safety work, like, tires that are just dry rotted and 15 years old, brakes that are gone. The one I did the live stream on yesterday, not in this category, but it was, way beyond on maintenance, a steering arm about to fall off. And you write them up an estimate for, everything that needs it to be safe to go down the road. And then we get asked, hey, I don't want to spend that much because I really want to get a lift and tires so I can look cool. So what's the bare minimum we can do and still save me enough money to do lift and tires? And it's like, you're putting your family in this vehicle, or at the very least, you're sharing the road with other people's families. Take care of the safety first, then do the fun stuff. And, I realize Land Cruisers are expensive. It's an expensive hobby. And if you're not doing the work yourself, it's super expensive. I get that. But yeah, I guess this is just a long way around of saying, hey, budget for repairs, know what you're getting into, make sure you're comparing apples to oranges when it comes to repairs, because the cheap repair with like cheap parts or shortcutting the repair will likely come back to haunt you. And I guess another example, we get calls all the time for people wanting us to do timing covers on 1FZs without taking the head off. Theoretically, you can possibly do that. You run a really high risk of screwing up the front edge of the head gasket, and then you leak oil there, and you end up having to pull the head to do a head gasket anyway. So, you've just paid somebody to do the timing cover, and then you get to turn around and do everything over again to get it to seal right. So yeah, shortcuts don't always pay. Sorry for the long rambling video. This has just kind of been on my mind lately. And since I had a diff that I was going to take apart anyway, and I had new bearings and everything here, thought I'd shoot a video on it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. If you're looking for more personalized help, we do one-on-one video consultations. There's a link down in the description, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.